Do you mind if I stop by your house? No, not at all. Be my guest. Hold on. I'll be right back. Don't hang up. I can't put you up. For one thing, my dad drops in on me from time to time. Drops in on me from time to time. While Jennifer was standing still, Bob was pacing back and forth along the sidewalk. Let's make up, Lisa. Stop taking me for granted. We are through for good this time. I mean it. Come on, don't get so emotional, Lisa. I didn't mean to hurt you. Let's talk it over. You betrayed me. Please forgive me. How can I make it up to you? How can I make it up to you? I'll get even. You should confess your sins rather than conceal them. Keep your word. Otherwise, you'll end up losing face. Bob sticks to his moral principles and believes that honesty pays off in the long run. Cheer up. You couldn't help it. I did my best. I know. Don't dwell on the past. You can start over. Cheer up. You couldn't help it. I did my best. I know. Don't dwell on the past. You can start over. Jane, please do me a favor and give me a ride to Times Square. I wish I could, but I'm tied up right now. As usual, Mike turned up on time. He's very punctual. The other day, I ran out of gas in the middle of a busy interstate. The other day, I ran out of gas in the middle of a busy interstate. I ran out of gas in the middle of a busy interstate. The other day, I ran out of gas in the middle of a busy interstate. Run out of gas. A truck driving ahead of me skidded, turned over, and scattered its load all over the road. A truck driving ahead of me skidded, turned over, and scattered its load all over the road. He recalled that a collision had been avoided by sheer luck. In case of an emergency, get in touch with my agent right away. In case of an emergency, get in touch with my agent right away. Jen, where are we heading? I think we are lost. We went in the wrong direction. Damn, pull over. My rusty Ford broke down, obstructing the intersection. There are so many fine scratches and dents on its surface. It's no use polishing it. There are so many fine scratches and dents on its surface. It's no use polishing it. Hey, we're stuck in a traffic jam. Chill out, Joe. Let's take a shortcut. We'll get there in time. We'll get there in time. I've got a flat tire. Can you give me a hand? I'd be glad to. The ambulance went out of control and came close to running over a pedestrian. He contends that primitive life once existed on Mars. He contends that primitive life once existed on Mars. The crew is busy preparing for the voyage into outer space. They conducted a series of experiments under zero gravity. Many astronomers assume that the universe will expand infinitely. Many astronomers assume that the universe will expand infinitely. Many astronomers assume that the universe will expand infinitely. The astronomers were greeted with spontaneous applause. A fund was set up with a view to preserving our endangered planet. A fund was set up with a view to preserving. A fund was set up with a view to preserving our endangered planet. The massive flood paralyzed the local transportation network. The massive flood paralyzed the local transportation network. The massive flood paralyzed the local transportation network. The equator divides the globe into two hemispheres. The equator divides the globe into two hemispheres. I think it's cruel to trap animals for fur coats. The organization plays a principal role in wildlife conservation. The organization plays a principal role in wildlife conservation. Many fragile species are on the verge of extinction. Many fragile species are on the verge of extinction. The prolonged drought did severe damage to the crops. The prolonged drought did severe damage to the crops. Severe damage. Tropical rainforests tropical rainforests are quickly disappearing on a global scale. In part, it's due to acid rain. It is said that global warming is directly related to carbon dioxide emissions. It is said that global warming is directly related to carbon dioxide emissions. It is said that global warming is directly related to carbon dioxide emissions. It is said that global warming is directly related to carbon dioxide emissions. The destruction of the ozone layer affects the environment. The destruction of the ozone layer affects the environment. The destruction of the ozone layer affects the environment. The committee called on all nations to work side by side to curb air pollution. The committee called on all nations to work side by side to curb air pollution. A satellite was launched into orbit to monitor melting glaciers. A satellite was launched into orbit to monitor melting glaciers.